you have your device, them all. Now it's your purples here that give you added effects and abilities and increases the performances of all of your items and your constants. These very rares can be obtained through dailies, missions, or through your local crafter after the new patch that's coming out. So please be on the lookout for that. A good skill to do as an ultimate goal is to make sure that all of your consoles are purples. That way you're operating at peak performance. Next we're going to talk about the devices. Since the last patch, the devices have been very important simply because now your power levels mean something. So we go back to the skills. Your power levels are going to be dictated by these skills in efficiency. Shield performance also helps with those shields as well and those other skills. But not only that, but the proficiency, oh here it is, the efficiency of your shields also adds some power to different abilities, different sections of your ship, as you know, which is broken up between weapons, shields, engines, and auxiliary. So, since your weapons are firing best when they're at higher levels, it adds more damage at higher levels. Having a weapons battery is very important because using your powers actually depletes your energy. So if your energy reaches 0, the system shuts down. For instance, if your shields reach 0, your shields will go down. If your weapons power setting reaches 0, your weapons will go down, and so forth and so forth. So making skills such as Energy Siphon, Tachyon Pulse, Tycoon's Rift, those skills are very dangerous because they drain your power settings and you won't be able to do anything. So having these devices on hand are very important. Weapons battery, your shields battery, your auxiliary battery, your engines battery. These are all very helpful devices to have. Some people use the engines battery in accordance with evasive maneuvers. Using them together will send you all flying and you'll get out of a tight squeeze very quickly, especially when you need to. It's a nice retreating maneuver to use. Some people use weapons batteries to boost power, even more power, to their weapon settings when they're opening up the initial attack. A lot of cruisers like to use shields batteries to add more power to their shields, making them even harder to take down for a few seconds. Devices are very essential. Do not give them away, hold on to them. I guarantee you're going to use them. Next you have the engineering consoles. Now your engineering consoles, they all do different things, like add power to your weapon settings or your shield settings or your engine settings, and even your build resistances, whether it's polaron damage, anti-proton damage, or just all around different damage types. Engineering, depending on what your how many consoles you have, dictates how many you can actually put there. So for my ship, I can only put 2 engineering consoles. So I decided to go with something that will add more power to my weapon, since I am an escort. I want to have even more power to the weapon settings, and give me some damage against the more common damage types used at the Admiral level, which are polarons and anti-protons. And then also the third one will be plasma, which is used very often, and the other different types of damage. It's very good to use these different resistances, as they do give benefits to your shields and your resistances of your hull, which you will see here in your specs. Now notice in the specs it says 19.9% is what I'm actually getting out of the 25%. This is just how the mechanics work. Item may say that you're getting plus 30s, but in actuality you're only getting maybe 25% increase for whatever you had, and so forth and so forth. Now science consoles, now we're back with this thing with science. Now before, in your deflector you can add some benefits to your science abilities as well. There are different deflectors that do different things. Now with your science consoles, you can also add another area of expertise. Now this is where I have my sensor probes for my viral matrix and my jam sensors and scramble sensors. This is also where you have sensor array for those same skills as well. And I also have a starflip deflector dish for my other skills, science skills, that have to do with deflector. This is very important because what consoles you're going to put here is dictated by what science officers you have. I have energy siphon, just deflector dish, and then you have sensor probes, scramble sensors, and science team. So I have those skills or those consoles cater to what his skills are. I have another science officer that has jam sensors, which works off the sensor array. Benefits to that: the deflector dish for tachyon beam, and Tychon's rift is the deflector dish. So when you're looking at what consoles to use, great thing to do is look at what officer powers you have and which consoles will benefit those powers. Next are your tactical consoles. Now your tactical consoles are going to depend on what weapons you have. Since I have Tetryon cannons, I have one console to benefit cannon weapons, and then I have another console to benefit Tetryon weapons, all Tetryon weapons. And then I have another one to benefit my tactical warhead, which will be your torpedoes. Okay. Now, it's essential that you know that you cannot stack certain consoles. If you stack them, you won't get the full benefit of it. For instance, if I put two cannons here where it says plus 17s, instead of me getting the full 34% plus 34, I may only get plus 25. And the third one is going to be halved again, and then half for the fourth one. But when you're increasing the damage to a certain type of weapon damage, for instance, in this instance, Tetryon weapons, they do stack. That's why I have two, because most of my weapons are Tetryon. And of course, when I find my Tetryon turrets, I'll be switching out the phasers. But I digress. And then accordingly, I have Starship Torpedo, which will benefit my torpedo weapons. In addition, if you do run mines, on which I will not be, I'll be transferring to a turret when I get one. You need to have possibly maybe a tactical console benefiting mines. It's not a must, but the best way to do it is whatever you have the most of, have that console for that weapon. For instance, if you run mostly phasers, like 4 out of 5 of your weapons are phasers, then you need to have a phaser console up here. If you run torpedoes, you need to have at least one torpedo console up there. If you run beams, you need to have a beam console up there for your beam arrays. This is how you make sure that your ship is a fine and well-tuned machine. Okay, making sure that you're operating at peak efficiency and damage. And the best way to make sure that you are as uber as you can possibly be is to get all of your consoles purple. And the only way to do that is to do your B-trans, get your missions, and get some valor points. I believe they're badges of excellence to get you some purples, and even some crafting. See your local crafter to work on getting you some purples as well. But that's it for me, guys. This is everything I have on consoles today. So you remember, stay safe out there. Fly fast, fly well. Be efficient in all that you do. This is Captain Ishibaru speaking. Another class trying to make you the best pilot that you never thought you could be. Starfleet Security, Ishibaru out.